Today, we'll be making this very interesting card. It is called a nested portfolio card. This is a card that is made in such a way that a portfolio fits to the front of it. Isn't it amazing? And it's not difficult to make. It just takes some time, but believe me, it is well worth the effort. In this video, I'll show you how to make this card to be super solid and durable using normal, ordinary, and common tools. Here are the materials needed. If you want, you can pause the video at this time and ensure that you have all the materials before we begin. So let's start. So first off, measure a wide Bristol board, 8.5 inches in length and 5.5 inches in width. Cut out that wide Bristol board. Measure another wide Bristol board, the same length and width, 8.5 inches in length and 5.5 inches in width. Cut out that wide Bristol board. So now we have two pieces of wide Bristol boards cut at the same length and width. Take one of the wide Bristol board and place glue on the surface of that Bristol board. And stick the other wide Bristol board on top of that one. Crease the ends really well. Trim off any extra edges, if there are any. Next, looking at the length side of the card, using the back of the knife, draw two lines from the end of the Bristol boards we just stuck together. One line should be drawn at 4 1/8 inches from the end of the card, and the other line should be drawn 4 3/8 from the end of the card. Remember, you are drawing the lines using the back of the knife. Don't press hard on the knife when drawing the lines. Then fold on those two lines as shown, making a spine in the center of the card. Next, we are going to draw the yellow and red pattern as shown in one of the card's face. To do that, draw lines using a pencil at 3/4 inch, 1 inch, 3 inches, and 3 1/4 inches from the edge of the spine. I'll also leave a drawing of all the measurements in the description below. Next, turn the card anti-clockwise to the width side of the card and draw lines at 1 1/16 inches, 1 3/8 inches, 4 1/8 inches, and 4 3/8 inches from the end of the width side of the card. Remember, one of the small strokes on the inch side of the ruler is 1/16. All the lines that we drew should intersect all together to form a rectangular box on one of the faces of the card as shown. Next, draw the red diagonal lines from one end of the rectangle to the opposite end of the rectangle. The diagonal lines should intersect in the middle of the box as shown. Don't worry about the diagonal lines being perfect. Just ensure that the diagonal lines connect from one end of the rectangle to the extreme opposite end of the rectangle. Next, trace over all the yellow lines that form the rectangle using the back of the knife. Then, cut out the red diagonal lines in the middle of the rectangular box. To do that, place a small Bristol board to the back where the diagonal lines cross each other and make a slight cut using the sharp side of the knife. Then fit the scissors in the slit you have made and cut out all the diagonal lines. Next, fold on all the lines that we marked using the back of the knife to form the pattern shown. This is how the card should look at this point. Next, taking a pattern paper, measure length 4 3/8 inches and width 5.5 inches. Cut out that rectangle. Then turn the pattern paper over. Again, from the pattern side, you turn the paper over. This is because we are going to draw the rectangle that we had drawn on the card on the pattern paper. So when you turn the pattern paper over, first draw a line at 2/8 inches from the right end of the paper. Then draw the normal rectangular pattern from that line. Next, trace over all the yellow lines together with a 2/8 inch line that we have drawn on the end using the back of the knife. And cut out the red diagonal lines in the middle. Then fold on all the lines that we had marked using the back of the knife to form the rectangular pattern as shown. Lastly, for this pattern paper, place glue on that surface that we had drawn on and stick it on top the front of the card as shown. Take your time and ensure that the entire spine of the card is covered by the gift paper and the box of the pattern paper fits nicely in the box of the card. The card should look like this so far. After that, measure 3 wide Bristol boards at length 2.5 inches and width 3.25 inches. Cut out those 3 wide Bristol boards. Next, cut 1 black paper the same length and width, length 2.5 inches and width 3.25 inches. Cut out that black paper. Stick 2 of the wide Bristol boards that we just cut out together. Then stick the black paper on top of those wide Bristol boards we just stuck together. Next, place glue on the wide side of that Bristol board and black paper we just stuck together and stick that in the middle of the rectangular part of the card as shown. Of course, if there are any extra edges of the black rectangle showing, you may trim it off before sticking the black paper and Bristol boards in the rectangular part of the card. Make sure the black fit nice and snug and perfect in the rectangular part of the card. Now to decorate the inside of the card a bit. Measure a gift paper that you want to be on the inside of the card, length 8.5 inches and 5.5 inches. Cut out that gift paper. Next, draw 2 lines from the end of the gift paper using the back of the knife. One line should be length 4.8 inches. Another line should be and 3/8 inches. Taking the measurement from our card we had made this far, draw a rectangle length 2.5 inches and 3.25 inches on the left flap of the gift paper. You don't have to worry about the rectangle being too perfect for now. Cut out that rectangle in the middle of the gift paper. Next, see how the gift paper fits on the ends of the card and make adjustments to suit so the ends line up well and the rectangle we cut out on the gift paper fits around the rectangular box of the card. After that is done, crease the lines that we had marked on the gift paper to make a slight spine on the gift paper, and place glue on the back surface of that gift paper and stick it on the inside of the card as shown. Ensure that the middle of the spine is creased really well together. Don't worry about forming the spine, just stick the ends of the card flat on the spine of the card and allow the paper to dry solidly and secure on the spine of the card. Remember earlier we had cut out 3 wide Bristol boards? 2 were stuck together with a black paper to form the black part in the middle of the card. Using the other wide Bristol board, cut at length 2.5 inches and width 3.25 inches, place glue on the surface of that wide Bristol board and stick it on the rectangle on the inside of the card. Crease it down well. Take now a wide Bristol board. Measure the wide Bristol board at length 3 5/8 inches and width 5 inches. Cut out that wide Bristol board. Then measure another wide Bristol board at the same length and width. Length 3 5/8 inches and width 5 inches. Cut out that second wide Bristol board. Next, place glue on the surface of one of that wide Bristol board we just cut out and stick the other wide Bristol board on top of that wide Bristol board. Next, take a black paper and measure 2 rectangles the same length and width of the wide Bristol board we just stuck together. Length 3 5/8 inches and width 5 inches. Cut out those black papers. For one of the black paper we just cut out, place glue on the surface and stick it on the wide Bristol boards, length 3 5/8 inches and width 5 inches that we had stuck together. Trim off any extra edges of the wide Bristol boards. Place dots 3/8 inches from the top, bottom, sides of the inside of the card. Those are guiding dots. Then place glue on the other black paper we cut out earlier and stick it between those guiding dots on the right inside part of the card. Then place glue on the inside small rectangular part of the card and stick the black rectangle that we had stuck on the wide Bristol board on top of that rectangle. Please ensure that the 2 inside black rectangles line up well with each other as shown. Now that the inside gift paper should be stuck well on the inside card, you may now fold the card to form the spine of the card. Now take a manila folder, measure rectangle, length 2 7/8 inches and width 4¼ inches. Cut out that rectangle. Next, place dots 3/8 inches from the top, bottom and sides of the black panel on the right black panel of the inside of the card. Place glue on that manila rectangle we just cut out and stick it between those guiding dots on the inside of the card. The card is taking shape well. Now to make the portfolio part of the card to fit inside that inside rectangular part of the card. To do that, take a white Bristol board, measure it at length 7 7/8 inches and width 3¼ inches. Remember, 1/8 inch is 2 small strokes on the inch side of the ruler. So 7 7/8 is 14 small strokes after the 7 mark on the inch side of the ruler. Cut out that white Bristol board. Measure another white Bristol board, the same length and width. Length 7 7/8 and width 3¼ inches. Cut out that white Bristol board. Place glue on the surface of one of the white Bristol board we just cut out and stick the other white Bristol board on top of that one. Next, measure 2 black paper the same length and width as the white Bristol boards we just stuck together. Length 7 7/8 and width 3¼ inches. Cut out those black papers. Place glue on one of the surface of the white Bristol board we stuck together and stick one of the black paper on top of those white Bristol boards. Then turn the Bristol board over and place glue on that side of the Bristol board as well and stick the other black paper on top of that white Bristol boards. Trim off any extra edges of the white if there are any. Place in a book and allow to dry completely. After that part of the card is dry, take out that part of the card and draw 4 lines from the end of the black rectangle using the back of the knife. Draw one line at 2½ inches from the end of the rectangle, the other line at 2¾ inches from the end of the rectangle, the third line at 5¼ inches from the end of the rectangle, and the fourth line at 5 3/8 inches from the end of the rectangle. Remember, you are drawing those lines using the back of the knife. So just put a mark on those points using a pencil, then draw the lines using the back of the knife. Next, fold on all those lines as shown. First, fold the right side of the rectangle first. Then fold the other part of the rectangle to go on top of that part we folded first. Taking our manila folder, measure 3 rectangles at length 2 3/8 inches and width 3½ inches. Cut out those rectangles. Place glue on all 3 of the manila folder that we just cut out and stick them one on each of the black panel as shown. Isn't the card looking amazing so far? At this point, you can choose to print, stick or draw an image on those manila panels. I chose to draw. If you want to draw like me, get the images that you would like to draw, apart from the internet, and cut it out. Ensure that the image is the same size as the manila panel, that is length 2 and 3/8 inches and width 3 and 8 inches. Next, take a black or blue or whatever carbon paper you would like your drawing to be and measure a rectangle the same size as the image, length 2 and 3/8 inches and width 3 and 8 inches. Cut out that carbon paper. Next, place the carbon paper underneath the picture you want and draw out the image on the manila panels. Do the same thing for the second and third manila panel. Place the carbon paper underneath the image and trace over the image you want on the manila folder panel. Please do ensure that your pencil is sharp. Next, using an ink pen, darken all the lines of the image that you have drawn and put in any colors you may want, if you want any. I just wanted the image to be black and white. You don't have to leave the image black and white if you don't want to. You can add colors. At this point, take a black paper and draw 3 rectangles at length 2.5 inches and width 3.25 inches. Cut out those black rectangles. Then make a border inside all those rectangles. The border should be an 1/8 in width. Take your time and cut out those black frames using the technique as shown. Just bore a hole in the inside of the rectangle and using the scissors, cut carefully on the inside of the rectangular frame. After that, place glue on all the frames and stick the frames around the images we just drew, so that the images may have a very even border around each one of them. Now let's draw 2 last images for our card. To do that, take a manila folder now and cut out 3 rectangles, lengths 2.25 inches and 3 inches. Cut those rectangles out. For one of the rectangles, place it on another image and draw that shape of the image. And cut out that image. Then take the same carbon paper that we had used before and place it under the image and draw out that image on the 2.25 inches and 3 inches manila folder. Trace the image afterwards using a black ink pen, adding any color you may like. Now, taking a black ribbon, measure it at 12 inches. You can measure it at 14 inches if you want a longer ribbon. Then fold the rectangle as shown and place glue in the middle front of that folded rectangle. Fold the ribbon in half and place one of the half of the ribbon on the glue spot. Carry the next half of the ribbon behind the folded rectangle. Next, place glue on the surface of the picture we just drew and stick it on the front of the folded rectangle, on the part of the ribbon that we just stuck in front of the folded rectangle. On the back side of the card, take the second manila folder, lengths 2.25 inches and 3 inches that we had cut out earlier. Place glue on that manila folder and stick it on the back side of the folded rectangle, Please do not stick the ribbon. Just stick that manila folder to the part of the card itself. For the last manila folder, lengths 2¼ inches and 3 inches that we had cut out earlier, cut out an image to fit that size of the manila folder and draw out that image using the same carbon paper that we had used before on the other drawings. And trace it out using an ink pen. Then place glue on that manila folder with that image and stick it in the middle of the rectangle on the big part of the card as shown. At this point, you can fold the ribbon to form a bow and place the portfolio part of the card in the middle of the rectangle of the big part of the card. Lastly, go to the back of the card, measure a black paper, lengths 4 and 3/16 inches and 5½ inches. Cut out that black paper. Place glue on that black paper and stick it carefully to the back of the card. Trim off any extra edges of the black paper. Now you can just add some finishing touches with a ribbon, or by just clipping the ends to form like a valley. And there you have it. Your nested portfolio card have been completed. I had extra time, so I decided to make another identical nested portfolio card. In this way, by just using the same method described in this video, you can make as many nested portfolio cards as you may like. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more videos.